Welcome to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, where world-changing spiritual entrepreneurs come to deeply awaken the power within to bring forth their greatest purpose, to create massive awakened impact for millions of souls around the planet, while enjoying being in tune with all life and real wealth in all aspects of their lives. I'm your host, Daniel John Hanneman. And hello, everybody! So here we are with the amazing Carlton Wilborn. Hello.
Hello, sir. How are you? Happy Friday, Daniel.
We're having a lot of fun. We got the Fierce Alchemist here with us. Meets the Spiritual Rockstar Show. Boom!
Boom! Exactly. There you go.
We're going to dance together here for a while.
Hey, it's going to be something. It's going to be something. What?
It's going on right now. It's going on.
Yeah. No,
I want to let everybody
know
just what's going on here, right? So we want to give them a deep dish. We give you a deep dish around Carlton. Let me tell you about Carlton. Carlton Wilborn is a globally respected and award-winning director, producer, actor, life coach with over 40 years of entertainment experience. This is an amazing guest we have, truly. Aside from his role as the villain in the iconic Opera Nixon in China with the LA Philharmonic at the Disney Concert Hall in Los Angeles, Wilborn began his professional career as a principal dancer with Hubbard Street Dance Chicago. I'm right here in Chicago.
Yes.
Yay, I know about that. He's performed live with the likes of Michael Jackson, done music videos with Janet Jackson. I just like, this is so fun. And toured the world with Madonna for the Blond Ambition tour, documented in the feature film Truth or Dare, and again for the Girlie Show tour. His thespian credits include The Mentalist, which had the GLAAD Media Award Nominee, the Best Actor Award from the NYLA International Film Festival, the acclaimed gospel stage play Tell Hell I Ain't Coming, and Blade to the Heat, New York Shakespeare Festival. And the list really just goes on and on.
Yeah, it goes on.
We've got a lot of credits here with the practice, CSI, and all this stuff. Oh my God! It's just, and then with Oprah Winfrey, Tuesday with Morrie, and so he's been a part of a lot of stuff. Carlton is also the key subject in the recent, compelling, inspiring documentary "Strike a Pose." And Mr. Wilborn here was most recently honored by Rahm Emanuel, Mayor of Chicago, with the proclamation on February 5th, 2017, to be Carlton Wilborn Day in Chicago. How awesome is that?
Isn't that amazing?
Total rock star here. In recognition of his extraordinary life, enduring efforts, and impact culture, and inform community and inspire change. So Carlton, wow, I mean, he's blessed so many people's lives, and I'm just so grateful to have you here. I mean,
thank you so much, man.
A whole day, named after.
That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. We got to do the event at the Du Sable Museum, and so they hosted the whole thing, and the Joel Hall Dance Company performed, because that was actually the studio, was the first official professional studio that I started studying at. Before I got to Hubbard Street, I started at Joel. So they got in touch with Joel's company. I didn't even know, and they did a whole performance, and they ran my movie Strike a Pose, and yeah, God is good. God is good.
Amazing.
So
yeah. So tell us, wow, with all that amazing stuff you've done, I mean, you being the Fierce Alchemist just makes total sense. I mean, and what all that means. I'm saying it's you. I'm sure it's more than that. But, the Fierce Alchemist has arrived. I mean, with everything going on right now, it's amazing what's going on right now.
Well, and I love you bringing that up. I mean, Fierce Alchemist is a new title that I've coined, and a business thing. We'll talk about all that a little bit later. But in regards to, I mean, the timing right now, for me is amazing, because I look at, with all of the stuff that is hella crazy, political to health to civil rights issues, all of it. It honestly, for me, Daniel, has been an incredibly empowering time. You know, where I get to realize that my journey has so clearly, dude, made me ripe for this season right now. To be able to be a voice of reason, if you will, to people. You know, I realize there's so much hopelessness going on, and there's so much anxiety, rightfully so. And there's so much depression, you know, folks that we've all known to be very stable and stable in their thinking and stable in their positive faith, you know, that are rocked right now. Folks are rocked. And I've been really grateful that, you know, I mean, my story, I don't know how much you know, but, you know, I was diagnosed HIV positive back in 1985. So, you know, and that was not a smooth ride for me. I had a lot of shame about that and hid it from my family for over 14 years and just was riddled underneath. Still masking this showman thing, all that stuff, most of those accolades happened under wraps with this other thing. And so here be COVID. And I go, well, look at this. And I was like, bring it on. I already have lived through a pandemic.
Yeah, true.
I've lived through a serious war where the narrative on the street is woe and nervous and concern and how will you and will they? Same thing. And so I'm so grateful, dude, that I know how to ride that and ride that well. I know what it's about at the end of the day, that you've got to keep your system fortified, your mental system and your physical system. I got gazillions of things in my toolbox from all the years of having to keep my own temple strong, you know. So I'm really grateful that I get to be able to offer up some information to people to bring them back to center while in the middle of the crazy. Not waiting for it to calm down, not perceiving it in a different way in the future. So that's a gift for me right now, man. That's a real gift for me right now. You know, it's really pushed me to, as I say, walk a little bit more grounded and a little bit more pulled at the same time. You know, because I know that something else has me. There's no freaking way around that. There's no way I could have thrived, had the fortitude of thinking to even be courageous or attempt to be courageous. That's my real talk, dude.
Wow, there's so many thoughts going through my mind right now with everything you're saying. And
sorry, all right, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's good. It's good. I mean, you know, on Spiritual Rockstar, you know, the theme around it is, are we really...
I love that title, by the way. Like, that's one of the things made me, like, as soon as I saw your podcast, I thought, I need to check and see what this is about, because that's all around my brand. I love it.
Exactly. And
Spiritual Rockstar, yeah.
It's all around that deeper connection we have with the one, the source, whatever you want to call it, right? That deeper connection we have and how it wants to rock it out through us, right? So, and all of our experiences inform that purpose. And that, you know, that is brought, you've gone through all that fire, if you want to call it that, right? All those experiences to bring you into a perfect, you know, it's all perfect, and it brings you this perfect moment where you can serve in such a beautiful, perfect way for your soul right now. And it's, so you're dialed into that. And
I mean, even down to, you know, everything that's been happening with Black Lives Matter. At the end of the day, it's a similar thing, you know. I mean, my sex life has been somewhat on the table. So, you know, me being with men and being with women, that's been my lifestyle most of my life. I'm actually bringing even more truth back to that as we speak. But that being said, you know, feeling the sort of pushed away thing that the gay community or the fluid community gets has me have a certain kind of compassion and empathy for the other part that I obviously am, which is a Black dude. So I've been able to have a voice for all of that, you know, that comes from a place that's really grounded and rooted for people. And so I'm grateful for that, man. It's a wild time, but it's such a, my chosen angle perspective about it is I call it a humanity reboot.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what the season is. It, you know, the 2020 of it all is no joke. And so, you know, I say that while, I mean, because look, I mean, we can be frustrated and frustrated and frustrated, but the reality is folks are talking about wanting to get back to where we were and wanting to get back to normal and wanting to get back. Be careful, y'all. Be careful, because if we be in truth, most of us were already super frustrated about what the system was doing.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So why y'all talking about wanting to get back?
Right.
Get back to normal.
Right.
So there's something trying to push itself into newness, and it's really great. And so with the 2020 thing, for me, it's like, you know, aside from me just being excited about what's going to happen to the sort of macro, or to the, actually it's the micro, which are like the business sectors and the political sectors and all of those realms. Exclusively, I say my work is about making sure that people, and myself included, be a separate individual contribution to the 2020 expandedness. So who we be as our own entity fuels that as well. We ain't sitting back applauding that they went on a different ride and we just get to tag along.
Right.
No, that's not the game. It's called 2020. Wake up. See clearer, bigger, better. And it's so exciting, dude. It's challenging, but that's what it is. I mean, anytime you start to exercise, same thing. It's challenging. You want to learn how to paddle a boat. Fun, but it takes something. You want to learn how to do this thing. At first, it takes something. But why not? To me, I'm really, really interested in the excitement of what is new, that is supposed to be new, so that life can feel more whatever extra for us. It's arrogant to say that there should be no more, and what it was is all that it should be. To resist evolution, we've got to be careful. We want evolution to exist in ways that serve us and our dreams and our visions. But if evolution be evolution, evolution as an energetic is not compartmentalized. So then we have to be part of the equation of evolution, but then we give a pushback. And I say, the more that I've learned how to just kind of be in the flow of all of it, which is what this 2020 experience is bringing to all of us. It's a beckoning. Scratch that. It's more than a beckoning. It's kind of like a big ass shove.
Right. Let's admit it. Let's truth be said, right?
Truth be said, baby. What? So yeah, that's Fierce Alchemist, man. That's how I'm seeing things. And that's not even by choice. Like, that literally is what my soul tells me.
Exactly. Right. And that's what it is. We're tuning in. We're tuning in. What's the real truth? What's really going on right now?
Yes.
How are we being asked to contribute and share, each one of us? And I feel like through our podcast, one of the things that happens is people begin to hear more of their own truth, you know, as we're sharing what's going on here, right? So like what's fiercely wanting to come through, or even gently, or whatever it is, but like what's wanting to emerge for other people that are listening in. And your whole career has been about, I mean, a lot of it, I mean, the parts that like I know the most about, like that I've seen, is like being the lead dancer with Madonna, for example. It was like at that time, I mean, this is a great topic to bring up. That was back, what, in the 80s, right? So
that was actually 1990s when we started the Blond Ambition tour.
90s. Okay. So it was, 80s,
90s.
90s.
Yeah.
I don't remember the exact year, but it was around that time. So, but back then it's like, you know, I'm thinking about my own mindset at the time and like all the stuff that had been programmed in me racially. Okay. I'm going to go there.
Go there.
Racial programming was,
Go there,
I
dude.
remember
I love it.
seeing you on those sets and everything in the videos. And I'm like, oh, that Madonna, she's just trying to be all provocative. She's got this black lead dancer and stuff like that.
Love it.
That's how I saw.
Great.
That's
great, dude.
You know, I was a younger man then too, you know, but I didn't have the same wisdom. But like, I was just like, I just thought like, oh, it's like, I thought it was genuine and real at the same time, like really trying to move something along that needed to be moved along. I felt that at the same time, but with all my programming at the same time, I was like, oh, she's just trying to be provocative and, you know, like it's just to get attention and like.
Question. So then I love it that you just threw, let's just be in it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
So does that mean maybe somewhere at the core of you, you thought she couldn't just really care about Black people enough to want to dance with them? She's just doing it really to be provocative. Is that the foundation? Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, I think the deeper part of me understood what it was, but there was still programming that was judging it at the same time.
But like, I'm saying that part that was judging it from that place. I'm saying, like, she couldn't just value it. She was doing it from that one part of it. There had to be
another motive. There had to be another motive.
That's amazing.
Top of it. Right,
yeah, right. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's great that you could see that though.
Yeah.
On yourself.
Right. So I mean, I've always had this awareness. I don't know. I mean, if you want to get into it or not, but like even as a kid, I talk about it. Like I was aware of, like how privileged I was as a kid in the suburbs of Chicago. I was like, I'm like one of the most lucky people on the planet. I'm a white boy in the suburbs of Chicago. I was like 10 years old, and I already understood. Like I got this privilege or whatever. You know, I understood that all the way back then, and it's just an awareness. It was just awareness. And
so let me ask you, and I think it's completely brilliant that we're talking about it right now, and we should be talking about it.
Yeah.
Do you think, what do you see if you were conscious about it early? What did your soul do with that as an awareness? Did it make you have some us and them more, or did it unify you and go, oh, I have to make sure that I don't wear that too much? Where did you place it?
I think what I placed it at that time was just more like just recognizing I was lucky, like the sense of luck, and that's how I saw it then. You know, I thought, well, I'm privileged. There's sort of this mindset. I really had that. I'm privileged.
So let's say that a Black person walked past you 2 weeks into that, and now you've gotten to I'm privileged, and now you happen to be near a Black person. What would your thought have been different now that you had I'm just wondering if you can remember.
I think I would have had some of the racial programming I was brought up with, because there was some of that in my family a little bit.
Which was what specifically?
Well, with my dad, he'd use, you know, I don't even like to say the words, you know.
Well, come on, dude, we're having real talk. Go ahead.
Yeah,
he used the N-word?
He'd say jungle bunnies and things like that. And, you know, yeah, I mean, serious. He'd say it like, oh, it's just a joke. I don't really mean it. But like, it was like, I mean it, but I don't mean it. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So it's like, I never liked, I hated it. I didn't like it at all. I'm like, cut it out, you know? But that still gets in your consciousness, you know,
sure.
It's coming from your dad, you know, and it's in there. And so I mean, I didn't see consciously Black people that way, but it was just like, it just makes you confused,
sure.
You know, like I don't know
I can see that
what
for sure.
Black people are like, or, you know, I don't know anything. So, so you just kind of feel different, or maybe a little bit weird. You know, you don't know how to act, you don't know how to be. And I think that has continued for me in life to some degree, you know, that little bit, just a little bit. Now, you know, maybe not so much with some like yourself, but like it depends on what the context of.
So then let's jump you to where we are right now with all the activity and the focuses being so intense.
Yeah.
In this racial way in the world,
mm-hmm.
And you having had your perspectives the way that you've had them
mm-hmm.
pre this happening, what is your point of view regarding where we are right now and all that's been going on? What's your point of view?
Wow, I'm getting interviewed now. Cool, I kind of like this.
Entitled White Man, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, it's a very multifaceted view, but I'll try to condense it a little bit.
Okay.
So I don't know. It's hard to describe. There's so much. I don't know where to begin. I mean, I feel like
Because these are the kinds of conversations that we need and should be pushing ourselves to have, right?
yeah,
That get a little uncomfortable, that get sensitive.
yeah.
Oh,
No,
do I really?
exactly.
Well, no. Well, then if we,
Yeah,
if we
yeah,
don't
no,
do it,
exactly. That's what I'm
who is
saying.
going to push the bar
Right,
to
right,
start?
right.
So that's
Yeah.
where I'm at with it. I'm all gravy. Go ahead.
Awesome, awesome. So I think part of me, the spiritual part of me is just like I'm in the void, I'm in the stillness, I'm in the oneness. And this is what people call spiritual bypass a lot of times, but it's just like this is all ridiculous, you know. It does, you know what I mean? Like all the ideas around it, they're all ideas, they're concepts. There is just all there is. So that would be one perspective. Now, if you go into my humanity, that's where it gets more juicy, maybe. But like, so my humanity, it's more like, you know, okay, I'll get into it. But like when people say Black Lives Matter, of course they do. I mean, and I understand it in my own way. But it's like, but if I look at like the thing that I have some issue with is just like just like any movement, right? So, but there's people in the movement or even in like the organization Black Lives Matter that I would be like, oh, I don't know about some of that, you know, like I do get some other energy around it that I just don't.
So how about we don't speak in generalities if we're going to do this? So tell me exactly what you mean. You think like, oh, don't do that. Don't do what? You're watching them do that. What's the what?
Yeah, just things you see in the news. Just people that say Black Lives Matter and maybe they're beating somebody up or you know things like that. You know, just things of this nature.
So you're saying that your issue would be with, tell me more clearly.
Yeah, just those sorts of things, acts of violence.
From who to who?
It could be white people, it could be black people, it could be whoever. I mean, just people that are for Black Lives Matter that are maybe they're disrupting things, right? They're yelling, they're screaming at people sometimes. They're literally, people are going in the restaurant and say, everybody raise your fist, and they'll chant, and they'll intimidate people to raise their fist, say Black Lives Matter or else, or we're going to keep after you.
Where have you seen that happen at?
I see it on the videos that they show in restaurants and people doing this sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so part of you, and I totally respect you being honest about it. So you're saying part of you, not all of you, but part of you find some issue with that.
Yeah, part of me does. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So can we speak from that part for a minute? Like what is that
absolutely.
part that has an issue with that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, what is to have an issue with that?
I think it's like rather than like, I think I would rather like if I was like let's say I wanted to get someone's attention on another issue. Let's say whatever it is, okay? It could be pets matter. Now everybody, you know, it wouldn't be my style in the first place. Everybody raise their fist and say, you know, pets matter. Everybody in a restaurant has to, I wouldn't find it to just be appropriate, you know, to do that. I would.
What's the big crime in that, I'm saying, for you to have such a pushback against the Black Lives Matter if they get everybody in the restaurant to say it? Okay, what's the big crime in that? I'm asking you.
Oh, it's not a crime. I just.
So what's the big thing to say?
I don't know if it's a crime, technically speaking, but you know.
So no, I'm just saying, like, what's the big bad thing about that? So what if they get everybody in the restaurant to rally for it? It didn't hurt anybody. It didn't, like, what's to not like about Black Lives Matter that they're doing that is what I'm asking you.
I just think it's like forcing people to do. There literally was somebody in this one video there. She actually was in the marches for Black Lives Matter, but she wouldn't do it because they were forcing her to do it. She just says, "Don't force me." That's the issue I have is when it's.
Okay, so that was okay. So here's where I think folks have to be careful, Daniel, and I invite you to do that.
Yeah.
That was one video that you saw.
I know. Correct? I'm not characterizing.
No.
Yeah.
If we're going to do this, we got to have real talk. Okay. You brought up your example or why a part of you has issue with Black Lives Matter, right?
Right.
And all I'm saying is I get it, but also that was one video that you saw. So don't then go, no, because that's your example. If you said, I've seen 10, 15 over and over again, they're forcing people to say this thing, that's a different conversation, which is not the case. Am I correct? You saw one video where somebody said that they were forced. Is that more the truth?
Well, I've seen one video. I've heard more than one instance of it, but I've only seen one video myself. Yeah,
you've seen one video where somebody was being forced to say that, correct?
Right. That's what I've seen. Yeah. As far as
correct.
Yeah.
So I'm just inviting you to also be mindful of that, right? That you don't, that we don't, because you have your version of seeing that thing. I or somebody else might have their version of seeing one or two examples of something else and bundle all of their feelings or a bigger part of their feelings around something that really doesn't have much weight because you only have one example to support it.
True. Good point. Yeah.
Right? I thought you were going to go into the, which, you know, and you might also be going into the example of like the looting and burning shit down and like all of that. And folks are like, oh, if Black Lives Matter, why are they doing that? You know, that's not the most effective way. And I said, wow. And I don't know if anybody's ever said this to you before, but I thought, so let me ask you, right? If I said, Daniel, let's say that you, unbeknownst to your doing, get stood up in an alley as you're going somewhere, who cares where you're going, 3 dudes steal your shit, beat you down, make you feel like nothing, and then you get to get away, right? You tell me, right? You're a grown man. All your humility got taken out by 3 other men. Is it fair to you if somebody says, but Daniel, make sure when you talk about it that you don't be upset and you make sure that you stay calm because that's what's appropriate, that you don't really give a fuck how you come off at that point. Am I correct? You want people to know that you were offended and you were abused and whatever, and you want it to go down so that those people pay for it. Yes or yes, dude?
Probably a big yes. Yeah, I can't say until it happens, but probably a big yes. Yeah.
That's the equation that people miss when they go, but why are they looting? But why do they have to be yelling in the street? So first you want to abuse us and steal our shit. And then you want to tell us how we should respond about it? Come on now. That don't even seem humanly right to ask from anybody. I'm going to rape your daughter, but then I'm also going to tell you how to respond about the offense that was, what? Anybody would tell you that's insane. Anybody would tell you that's insane.
Yeah, of course.
But but do you hear that that's what that issue sounds like to us? You want to have issue with us about burning some shit down and screaming for our lives when ain't nobody really addressing what has us needing to do that in the first place. Well, no, we get that. Well, then if you really get that, then don't tell me how I should react when my shit's been stolen and they've tried to convince me for decades that I don't mean anything. You don't get to tell somebody how they react about abuse. Not to the people that have been doing it to them. So it's amazing. So I just gave you that little gem because I've been able to have some conversations and people have missed that and not seen that. And I know, as I said, it's also helped me not overstate or overposition myself regarding other things that I've witnessed It's what I call to the spiritual rock star thing. It's what I call being holistically conscious. Because we in the spiritual realm get the holistic lifestyle if we're talking about mind, body, spirit, and the Trinity. But in regards to perspectives, we lose sight of holistic perspectives. And so the stuff I'm bringing to you is the stuff that I had to bring to myself that helped me calm down and not hold people more subject to things that they shouldn't have been had I got my own brain right. So there's some humbling that has to come into that. There's some humility that has to come in to all of this equation. You know, the facts of the fault are clear, but we also don't need to over ramp the story just because you can. That's what I say to myself. That's what I say to my brothers and sisters. Because it's easy. That's what I say about the dude who abused me from 8 to 13. I could run with that story as far as I wanted to and drive that man to the grave. Drive his character, all of it, because I can. But at the end of the day, it's about being free, and it's being a stand for change. And if we be a stand for the things that we're a stand for, this evolution and all these new and old, new back, old to new, back to old, because they were here already. There were technologies that were used already. We're just grabbing hold of it. It's good, man. It's good. It helps. So anyway, I just like to bring all of that full form.
No, that's awesome. I'm so grateful. I mean, you're right. These are the challenging, the difficult conversations to have. And I know nothing. Okay. At the end of the day, I'm like, I don't know much. Okay. I'll just put it that way. But I do know that I, have, not like all my best friends or something, but I have friends that have been persecuted that are Black. I mean, that have dealt with a lot of things in their life. I mean, with the police, et cetera, and all those sorts of things. It's real, I mean, so that's another perspective of what I do know and I'm awake to, and I don't.
Yeah.
And, I know those things. I know that's happening. And so that's why I feel like it's like if the world says they want to, people like myself and other people who are white, Black, or whatever, but like, especially all of us, really. I mean, if we say we really want to wake up, then we got to wake up to everything.
Come on. Come on now. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Everything.
Absolutely. Be careful what you wish for, right?
This is the fire alchemy that we get into in these conversations. Perfect. I love it. Because I'll tell you, Carlton, the way this whole thing could have gone crazy in this time together is I could have started the automatic thing when somebody's getting on you about something, at least it feels that way to the person when you're like, hey, wait a minute, dude. I could be like, I could get in defensive. I could deny things. I could say, wait a minute, but what about this? None of that. I'm just going to listen. I'm just listening. I'm just going to be in my heart space and listen and just shut up and let it sink in. I mean, I just feel like so much of it is about that rather than, it's fine, whatever happens, in a way. I mean, in a way. But like what I'm saying is like the most evolved response to me is for us to listen to each other and not, and so we can wake up. It comes from deep listening from my perspective. So I think that's really so huge and important right now that we just really listen to all of it. And that's why I tried my best anyway to try to. It's so easy to want to go to where your opinions and your viewpoints want to anchor. And my part of the spiritual rockstar thing is to do your best not to do that. I've done whole shows around that. Like, you need to just be open. What is trying to open up inside you? What are you meant to become awake to, what's happening in this, whatever the scene is showing up in your life, in your world? And I think that
Well, I
just,
think the beauty of what you're sharing, if you don't mind,
yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I think the beauty of what you're sharing is a huge truck outside.
Yeah.
The availability of your soul, you know, I mean, it's great to be in the company of somebody else that obviously has done work enough to get, as you say, like their own ego out of the way, because I find that the difference between what you just shared and how you like to show up and how I've experienced more people than not show up is most people are about their own agendas. So they can't shut up with their mouth, nor can they shut up in their head to let somebody else or somebody else's perspectives matter, because they're doing and they're showing up. Even if they were to do this kind of moment, they show up to do versus to have and to be a receptor and to be this. I love that. I know for me with my coaching work, you know, just diving into that a little bit, one of the earlier things that I got piped onto over a decade or so ago is, as you say, the critical listening into as well. Because I can listen to you as you say whatever, and I can listen into what you're saying, which then makes it be more, I get out of the way instead of me wanting to project what I know you're doing, and I go, let him inform me. Let him inform me the truth. And usually when I get to that place, that's why it's so beautiful that you spoke, that you have that ability. It's a unifier, I find.
Yes.
It's a unifying space to come from. So it's beautiful.
I mean,
that's
people
awesome.
From the beginning of time or man or whatever you want to call it, humankind, have been just at war with our own opinions. You know, I believe that. No, I'll kill you. Like, what's that all about? You know, that's not evolving. I mean, it's old stuff.
And like you said at the very top, a girlfriend of mine who lives now in Augusta, Georgia, she's one of my ride or dies, said, almost verbatim to the language that you used, be careful that you don't do a spiritual bypass on everything.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, some stuff you just need to call it and see it and simplify it. So yeah, man, that's awesome. It's nice to meet you, brother.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So how did you get into all of this realm? Is this how you were born? Was it from your family? Did you find this through a something or a something? How'd you end up in all this realm?
Yeah, I mean, for me, with the spiritual aspect, there's always been a sense of that presence. You know, I've felt, and I grew up across the street from I went to Lutheran church. It was across the street from me. I didn't go to church a lot, but like sometimes I go on my own. I just feel like I want to go to church. My family doesn't hardly go. I want to go. You know, like I want to be at church. And so it's that, and then I just noticed I was intuitive. You know, I didn't label it that. I just I'd make big bets with people and stuff. I'm like, I know stuff. And, yeah, I know what's going to happen there. And like with the Bears, the Chicago Bears, they're going to win the Super Bowl like 2-3 years. I feel it. It's done. And like I had someone like make a bet with me. I won that bet. And they're like, no way. I'm like, yep, they're going to do it. I can feel it. And then it happened, you know, things like that. So it just kind of happened that way. And then through all my experiences of, I was a shy kid. I mean, I was just always inward and I want to just be deep and real. And everybody's on all their stuff that seems superficial to me, right? And I get it more now. You know, now I get what that's all about, but then I judged it a lot. Oh, you're just this ridiculous stuff, you know, there's all that stuff stupid. And so yeah, I mean, I just always had that feeling like I wanted to lead people from that spiritual place. It's always been with me, you know, for the longest time. And I just never knew where, you know, what that was really all about. And then over time, as I became, got into, you know, I had suicidal ideation a lot, you know, many times in my life, and depression, anxiety, and everything. Just, you know, you don't feel like you fit in, all that kind of stuff. And so, but
and we don't, and we're not supposed to.
Right, exactly. Well, I didn't know that back then.
Right.
Oh my God, I don't fit in, and then your ego gets involved. And I'm like, I'm actually better than you, or whatever. You know, all kinds of crazy ideas, right? So just insanity. But I got into psychology and all that stuff, and then I got into outside sales for a while, doing copiers because I want to get past my, you know, impediments. So I was like, oh, this is a way to get myself circulating, and then. So that was really helpful. It was really helpful to do that. I wasn't the greatest salesman, but it was helpful for that. Then I went back to school, got my master's in clinical psychology, and there my talent was recognized to be able to know people, like to my professors, my classmates. They're like, what's the deal with you? You just know what's going on with the people that our case studies and stuff, like the people that we'd have come in that we do the, you know, the practices with, so to speak. But they were like, you just know stuff, right? And it still wasn't totally sinking in. I was just like, oh, I guess I'm just good at this sort of thing. Like I didn't see it as a gift. And
okay, well then hold up. Because see, I didn't even realize everything I was getting into.
Yeah.
And you can pull stuff up, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so talk to me. So what you got on me?
Yeah, I always do this on the show anyway. You're queuing it up for me.
Come on, totally. I'm serious. Like, have you sensed anything or?
You know, I haven't been tuning into that necessarily, but I have. But as you asked, and I share. You know, so
okay.
So yeah, I get this sense of, you know, you've got this potential that's emerging of this. I want to say like this enlightened master sort of energy, and it's like really like at a deeper cosmic perspective. I see you just kind of like there's this meditative self that I'm connecting with right now, and it's just kind of watching your movie unfold, and that's just kind of true for everybody. But I just sense it more in you. You're more connected to it, and it's like you can see really what's going on. You have that deep gift too to be able to see and understand really what's going on in the bigger picture in humanity right now, and you could see the notes that need to be hit. Like we need to take care of this. We need to take care of that. And it's very, like, I want to say precise, like, you know, like that, no, that, you know, and that you're like that with other, you know, other things, right? Like you just, oh, no, that's not right. No, we need to correct that. No, okay, that's right. That's right. Okay. So it's like music. So you just can feel like what's true, what's not true. But yeah, you have that great ability to just like you get that visual too, like you can see a scene. That's where you'd I mean, you've already done it, like producing and stuff. Like you could just see like what it's meant to be, that scene. So it just comes to you. It's just so clear. Like that's how I tune it when I tune into you. I get that.
I can see even the way that you go to take a look at it. Like you're in it right there.
That's the fun part.
Awesome.
And then it's just you do have that. And then like getting in the throw, you do have social. I don't know if you agree, but like I get a sense of like social justice warrior energy in the throat chakra. Like it comes up for me when I tune in. I'm like, oh yeah. And so you are part of that. And you know, I know all the areas you play with that, but like I just feel it. And so, but you also have a mixed, together with that. I mean, you have like this angelic sort of energy wanting to deepen in your body and in through your throat. So there's like more access to the higher dimensional energy that wants to flow through you. So I feel more of that when I come through, and it feels kind of congested about that. There's something about just overall oppression, just the black oppression thing, or, you know, whatever, bi oppression, like a bi or whatever. But like, it's just a sense of like, what is it? Like, it's just it's an overall theme that goes into, they're not gonna, like, this is sort of universal when I see this in people's throat chakra. It's like people won't get it, you know, they're not gonna get it. If I bring that, it's too woo-woo, they're not gonna get it, you know, like they don't want to hear that. So there's some edges that you could go into that would be really powerful and cool. And I think you could be up to it. Like, but I could see you sharing more of that in the world. So I see that in the throat. So this is, I mean, I don't want to go on like,
Oh no,
oh, here,
that's amazing though.
I just want
That's
to share some
amazing.
things that I picked up.
Yeah. I can run with all that. I like all that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like all that.
There is, you know, the alchemizing within yourself, you know, is just more and more of that wants to happen. That's why we're always up to the thing we're into, right? So it's like, I'm bringing this fire alchemy in the world, you know, and like you're in that process.
Well, that I mean, exactly. Even you throwing those words back out, that's why Fierce Alchemist makes so much sense to me right now, you
Yeah.
know, and really that is simply a rebranding of my workbook that came out in 2011. It's called I Am Empowered. So my whole coaching thing is all about empowerment, courage at the end of the day. And so the Fierce Alchemist is really powerful for me. And so I'm literally, you know, when we met at the other event, I came into all of that with David. I've had a great thing with David for, you know, come up on almost 2 decades, almost. But yeah, because I'm launching my signature program. It's going to be an 8-week, 8-step coaching program. It's jumping off on September 29th. Got some clients already signed up. So great. So that's what that is about. And it's about the Fierce Alchemist. It's about creating more fierce alchemists.
Yes, yes.
So
yes.
there not just be one, but we get to prove. And the alchemy, you know, I get that we're all organically shifting and things are changing all the time anyway. But the fierceness is really about really taking a stand to take that thing by the straps and the horn and ride that bitch like nobody's bitch. That's what being a fierce alchemist is. And the benefit of it is that you literally, because right now, dude, there's so much hopelessness, all of that, all the depression that's going on, all the anxiety that's going on. The Fierce Alchemist gets you to dial into yourself, dial into your truth, dial into accepting that the good is supposed to be yours. And when you live from that place, Daniel, hear me, dude, there is a velocity at which the new good shows up in your life. A velocity. 1 month, you get an email that resolves that thing. 3 weeks later, damn, you got a phone call. Oh my God. That, boom. 2 weeks later, you get a check in the mail. What? Literally, dude. That's what life becomes. That's what the Fierce Alchemist is. So the manifestation gets to happen faster and faster and faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. Just because you say you can. Just because you say you can.
That's right. That's right. That's what I said. It's the first step I focus on. You just need to decide first. Decide, you know, quit playing around. You're infinite being. You can experience whatever you want, basically, more or less. I mean,
sure.
You know, there's so much is available. There's a huge bandwidth available. So we have to decide first. We have to decide, and then everything will proceed from there. We just have to decide. People don't decide. They say they decided. They never decided. So we have to decide. And I love, like, yeah, that.
I want to back up, though. I want to back up because I think these are on something with the decide. But I think that even before one gets to decide, they have to commit to courage.
True. That's true too. Yeah, absolutely.
Before you place something in front of them to go after or to build, first they've got to know and get okay with themselves enough to know that they can do it and that they have every right to go after that and every right to ask all the angelics to bring it to them.
Right.
That's where we miss the mark. We can see the possibility of it for you and them and him.
Right.
But we don't so much for ourselves.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, I think, yeah, man. Isn't it fun when you get to live like that? And you actually start to, no, it really does. I mean,
it's true.
For me, it's like I start to realize, I mean, you actually do have more of a say in this thing called life.
Yes. When
you really get to look at it and you can play with things.
Right.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I love it that you have this show and we get to do this kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's just amazing. And I just can't end the interview though until we at least talk for a second about how like I just wonder like all these things you've done in your life, like how has that been part of the path to the Fierce Alchemist? Because alchemy, because you worked with Michael Jackson, you've worked with Janet Jackson, you worked with all these. Yeah, so I know my listener, they'll be like, you didn't get any like interesting stories from him. Where's the interesting story? So as far as that goes, but I mean, we touched on so much deeper things, but I know like you learned a lot from everything you've done, including working with those people. How does that go into like your coaching and how you help people? I'm curious about
It goes absolutely, no, that's actually a really great question. And out of all the interviews I've done over the years, I've never been asked that question. It's a really great question. How does that feed into it? It feeds into it specifically this way. All three of those iconic figures, amongst others that I've gotten to play with, but if we just sit with the Madonna, the Michael, the Janet, all three of them, when you're chilling with them, when you're just having a drink or at their house or in the middle of rehearsal or at the end of it, they're as low-key, mellow, chill people. I'm going to tell you another moment after this. And so over time, I haven't had time to really think about this, but this is what's coming to me. Over time, and you look at then the Beyonce that has Sasha Fierce. That sounds like it's a gimmick, dude, but it's not. They have chosen. This is how it fits into my work. They have chosen to say, there is this identity of me that does exist, that is limited and nervous and unsure. And there's another version of me that exists, and I'm going to say that it gets to live, and it gets to win, and it gets to conquer all the things that I can't. And I realized there was a moment, the other moment, we were on the Girlie Show tour. No, Blond Ambition. We do 6 weeks in the studio, then we do 3 weeks on a sound stage on the actual stage that will travel. And when we're in those 3 weeks, we have rehearsals in the morning from 10 till 5, and then we do 2 run-throughs of the show at 7, and then at 10 that night in full costume and makeup for 3 weeks, 2 shows a day, part of the rehearsal. It's intense. And there was one, and so the makeup was getting done, and like Em had her makeup stand with her people, and then the dancers had our own 2 people that did our hair and makeup and whatever. And so, but we walk and cross and talk, and we're all chilling together. And at one point, I went over to Em. I was behind her chair. She was getting her thing made. I'm just watching. I wasn't really talking to her. She was talking to her makeup person. And at one point, she stopped Em to check her face in the mirror, see how it was coming along. And dude, it was a moment for me that literally changed me. When I watched her go from here, she's sitting like this. Okay, hang on a second. And the in like 3 fucking seconds, dude, that became from like Madonna Ciccone to the Madonna. No, seriously, dude.
Yeah, I get it.
A little bit of time that she looked at her face the way that the audience might need to see it, but she knew. I mean, it was crazy, dude. It was like an energetic sci-fi thing, just adjusted her face perfect, and then she sat back down. And I thought, it's choice. It's choice. It's choice. That's how it serves my work. We get to have a say. We lose sight of it when we view the mountains in our life bigger than us. Mm-hmm. That's where the rub comes. Mm-hmm. And they have decided, people like that, other versions like that, sports figures, hosts, commentators, they've said my mighty is supposed to shine and serve me. It's supposed to shine and serve me. Not like, I hope, will it, is it okay if. They're not asking permission, they're commanding something into form. That's how it serves my work. So when my whole brand, for Fierce Alchemist is all about working, I realized I was so troubled for so long, dude, trying to figure out that thing, that target audience. What is the target audience? What's the words? People that are stuck. That's who I help. I was looking at it like entrepreneur, artist, business. No, people that are stuck. That is where I understand. That, as my girlfriend said, oh man, she said the other day, Daniel, it was so great. We were talking about the times in 2020 and how some of us are able to thrive through it. And she was saying, oh, the gifts that we've been given. And my soul immediately, I was like frozen. And I heard my soul say, serve that which you've been gifted. So if you've been gifted all these blessings, then serve that which you've been gifted. And it just so happens to be that where I've been gifted is knowledge around thriving through HIV, and happens to be knowledge around how you get through after you've been abused. That's what I know. I've never, until recently in my life, setting into launching this program, been able to see it with an emotional separation. This is just where I was destined to get extra info. Don't mean jack shit about who I am. Don't take anything away from me. Doesn't mean anything extra precious about me. That's where I, through my journey of a thing called life, it was designed that I was able to collect a bunch of wisdom, insight, things in that realm. So then go share that. It's just simple. Isn't that amazing? Right. So that fits for everybody. If your journey is about, I don't know what it could be about for you. And the thing and the thing and the thing, once you start to see yourself on the other side, in more peace and more understanding, you give, you serve back that which you've been gifted. If you have new insight around the brother dynamic or around the too tall or too skinny or we from the trailer, whatever, that's where your richness is. Yeah. Dude, I've never seen it so clear. So great.
That's awesome.
So that's how I blended my entertainment thing with the Spiritual Rockstar podcast.
Yeah, Spiritual Rockstar.
Fierce Alchemist is alive.
This is happening. Boom.
It's great talking to you, man.
I'm so connected to that. We could do a whole other episode on it, but I am so connected to that commanding energy, and I find the places where I get stuck in navigating the human experience more so than just the sense of being in the, oh, that's easy, right? Okay, I mean, for me anyway, it is. That's the easy part for a lot of healers and spiritual people, right? Oh, come and then namaste, thank God. But like when we're going to navigate our paths, the fire of our path, it's like I have the access. I know I have it at the other level. And it blows people away when it comes through, when they really get the dose of it from me.
Yeah.
It blows them away. They're like, I could never imagine you had all that stored up inside you. Sure. And so it totally resonates for me when you say these people off stage, Madonna and Michael said, they're like, chill. That's how it's similar. I mean, I'm not saying them exactly, but I'm similar. We're all similar. Like it
is that though.
Stage, yeah, nobody would ever think I'm up to anything. But then you see me on my own stage here or on a stage in my live event, wherever it is, also you see, like, whoa, where'd this dude come from? And it's always been there. And people have always kind of wondered about that, but it's refreshing for me to hear that because sometimes people wonder, are you two different people or what? I'm like, that's just the way it is for me. That's what shows up when you go on stage. And
Yeah.
I think that's really cool.
It's like my same girlfriend, Maya, that brought up the gifts that we've been given that same night to what you're saying. She used the word summoned.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I've never been able to summon things as clear as I'm able to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can summon up your extra power. You can summon up energetic. Summon it. Summon it. You need money? Summon it. You need peace? Summon it. You're going to be late and you need to make sure that it's going to be okay on the other side? Summon it. Summon it. Just talk to it and decide it. When you start realizing that you really can do that stuff, yeah, it's a good life, dude. It's a good life.
We can summon everything. We can summon our sense of, or someone like me, white privilege, I can summon something from that. I mean, there's alchemy in everything. Summon the sense of the empathy that I have for people that are suffering, that are going through things that are Black, or whatever the issue.
All of it.
All of it. Like all of it. Only all of it. And that's what the beauty of what's available, and that you're I mean, you're so brilliant at really helping people with, particularly. So I'm just so grateful for this. And
thank you, man.
I want to, as we start to wrap up now, like, where can people learn more about you, get in contact with you?
Yeah, sure. I mean, so because I'm a Gemini, y'all, nobody judge me. All my social media is completely jacked up and it's scrambled. It's a Gemini as well. So on Facebook, I'm Carlton Wilborn, USA. Pretty simple. On IG, I am Carlton Wilborn Rising.
Nice.
On Twitter, I'm Carlton Wilborn. And if you Google me, there's a gazillion things and you can find me pretty easily. So that's how you can find me. But please be on the lookout, y'all. And you know what I'm going to do right now? I'm just going to do this. I'm going to do this. I've never done this during an interview. I'm going to give you I'm going to broadcast my cell number.
Nice.
Because I really know the power of, as Daniel and I are speaking about, this alchemist way to live, and really pushing the boundaries on it for yourself to prove yourself a fierce alchemist. I would love to have some of y'all, whoever, as I say, is feeling stuck about whatever. You want to get yourself going. September 29th is when we're doing it. I'm taking in no more than 10 people. I've got some people signed up already, so I would try and do it within the next couple of weeks at least. I'm not letting 11 come in. It's not going to be 12. It's stopping at 10. And it's going to be good. So anyway, that's what's up with that. 213-422-7682. That's my cell. Send me a direct message. I would love to get into a strategy phone call with you if you can, if you want. In the meantime, Daniel, sir, you're an angel, mister. Such an honor to be in the presence of another warrior in front of the spiritual rock star. Thank you for letting me spread my thing and do my thing. I do appreciate it. Happy Friday to you.
Oh, thank you, Carlton. I'm so blessed to have you on the show today. And it's one of the most powerful shows I've done for sure. And I'm just so grateful for everything that all the energy that moved there for us, for all our listeners, and everything is so beautiful. And I'm just so grateful for you. So the last thing is, if people want to check me out, go to yoursacredpurpose.com. As always, meditate and make money. Look into that alchemy, to tune into your chakras, your energy, your angels and guides. Check out my free meditate and make money meditation, yoursacredpurpose.com, and the opportunity to get maybe some energy scanning for yourself as well. There's those opportunities there. So check it out, yoursacredpurpose.com. And so from there, I'll just say, everybody, just keep on tuning in here at Spiritual Rockstar podcast show, and we'll keep on rocking it. All right. Much love, everybody. Till the next time.
Much love, y'all. Peace.
You're listening to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Stay tuned for our next upcoming new episodes each Wednesday and Saturday. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review to help us to serve you best. As a reminder, you can get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation at www.yoursacredpurpose.com to rock your sacred purpose. Goodbye for now, everybody.